around their collection. It's called it's a potato, if you can't tell, because a thing about a potato. So in Hong Kong, like these two brands are quite popular. I don't know, has anybody heard of Animoca Brands here? Right, you must have, right? Yeah, it's quite famous. At least in Asia, they are like a game company, a Web3 game company, but they have $1 billion US dollars under management to invest into Web3 companies. And as you can see, they're mostly into gaming. As you can see, this part of the disk is quite big, but they also have wallets, infrastructure, DeFi. Like, I'm sure you guys in blockchain there's different sections of it, and I feel like in Asia, they're more obviously the crypto side of stuff, and the NFTs kind of fall underneath that because they're like traded for value for money. But there is a lot of stuff being built in the background, I think, that's quite interesting. And not all these companies are in Asia, of course. These are companies that are all over the world, but I think they have something like 400 investments in Web3 companies in the world, which is crazy. And I think they're closing their second fund, which is another $1 billion into this. So they are definitely doubling down on this. Now this is obviously very shaky territory right now, right? What's going on? A lot of these values, these companies have probably gone down to near zero. So it's really, really tricky. Like I can just already see, like this company, Nifty's, just shut down the other day. So they raised something like $50 million. They were working with Warner Brothers and the big studios to sell NFTs of like the Matrix and stuff, right? And that's crazy. Yeah, no, I just saw that. Forgot that they invested in that. Right, then they have the Sandbox, which is like a metaverse game. You guys know what that is? It's crazy. I went back to Hong Kong in December and there are ads in the metro for it. Like, you know, whatever, some McDonald's is in the Sandbox. And I'm just like, wow. Because in North America, nobody's like going that deep into it, right? So it's quite interesting. And they have their own NFT collection called Mochaverse, so that's something they're building out. But they're very aggressive in Asia. They're in Japan, they're in Singapore, they're in all these different parts of Asia, not just Hong Kong, right? And so you probably know Hong Kong is a very small part of Asia. And the other one is the Memeland, which I'm working with, which I met a guy today. He has a potato on his LinkedIn profile. Yeah, so cool. And so this is the one company that's interesting. They started from, they're called 9gag. So they're like a meme company. I don't know how many young people are here, but you probably know this company from 10 years ago that used to post, like, they're like Reddit for Asia, right, basically. And so they kind of like now moving into Web3, so they have this thing called the potatoes and the captains out there. They're launching a meme coin. Now, in this market, are they crazy? I don't know what's going on there, right? But the idea is that there seems to be a lot of momentum and energy going on in Asia, especially out of Hong Kong. I choose Hong Kong because I know it the most, but these two brands are actually quite big. Like Memeland is in the top 10 with some of the more famous ones you might have heard of from the States, right? So it's pretty, for me, I'm like, wow, this is crazy that these guys are going so far. Oh, what happened? Oh, it'll come back, there it is. Now this is just a headline to kind of show you what's going on in Hong Kong, right? So the government is really behind this, the regulation for crypto. I think that one's quite interesting. I guess the reason why I'm talking about this is just letting you guys know that there is something going on over there about this that's kind of interesting, and that the financial secretaries and the government are getting involved, and there's like an order to actually build ecosystems, build investments, and things like that in this specific space, right? And they're changing the word to like a digital asset, right? That's the name. They're not calling NFTs or crypto. We like to use these new words. I'm sure we're gonna ICO. We got all these different words for stuff. But so I feel like digital asset is kind of the thing they're moving into now. So you hear that word a lot. And then I'm here for this week in Scotland, and then next week I'm preparing for this conference. This is in Singapore. It's called Token 24. There's also one in London as well. But it's very interesting to see the speaker list for this are all from America. Right? There's a lot of Americans coming out there because this is like the last bastion for them to like kind of like see their market for what they're doing. You can take a look at this. I'm going there to speak about kind of what I'm speaking to do now. I'm bringing some Hong Kong founders along to do this. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be going there from around the world to see what kind of investments going on, what kind of government, because every government, just like in Scotland, the reason why we're here this week is to kind of like, see what's going on here, kind of help startups, match out. The same thing with this, like Singapore and Hong Kong are kind of competing against each other to kind of show like what's going on in the Web3 market and try and claim like the place to be. I'm sure you've also heard Dubai. A lot of people have moved out there, especially from London. I've met a lot of London people in Dubai. It's crazy. So that's kind of what's happening there. And then we're also running an NFT Hong Kong show in Hong Kong, during the blockchain week. So like it's so far, it's really crazy to me. Like every month there are 2 shows somewhere in Asia about blockchain. There was the Japan had a blockchain week, but it was so long, it was 2 weeks. So there were so many events going on that calendar. Singapore has one that week for token. Hong Kong will have one in November. Korea has one, next week as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening out there. Just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that. It's not very technical and anything like that, but maybe you have some questions about what's happening out there and opportunities. Because I feel like even though you're in Scotland, there's like everybody was like loving to hear the stuff being built here in the local market, and there's they're looking for capital partners, and these conferences exist for you to check out in the future. That's it. That's not really too much. Thank you.